If you've been dealing with tight piriformis, limited hip mobility, sciatic pain, or low back pain, and use traditional methods without much relief, in this video we're going to be talking about the reason why that is and what to do about it. Hi, I'm Alex Effer, founder of Resilient Training and Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and practitioners get better and faster results with their clients. So before we get into the reason why you start to experience this pain, let's talk about what the piriformis does in general, just so we can understand how it gets to that point. So the piriformis attaches from the lower part of the femur towards the sacrum. So basically crosses the entire back side of the pelvis. When it contracts, it's going to pull these structures towards each other. So it's going to externally rotate the femur, and it's going to bring the sacrum closer towards the sit bones. It's going to squeeze that space. The reason why that's important is because if this space is closed, then that's going to impact our ability to internally rotate the hip. Internal rotation is associated with putting force into the ground. So whenever I take a step forward and I'm landing or I'm pushing off, that's going to require some degree of internal rotation. If I don't have that internal rotation, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump my pelvis forward. I'm going to cave in my knees. I'm going to dump the pelvis not just forward, but also away from that side, which is then going to impact, again, tension going on the back side of the pelvis. It's going to cause my lower back to extend or arch, which puts pressure on the lower back. And what it's going to do is it's going to act as a fake hip extender. So again, if I'm walking and my center of gravity is starting to go forward, and I have tension on the backside of the pelvis, so I'm not able to internally rotate the hip and open up this space between the sacrum and the sit bone, then I'm going to arch my back to do it. I'm going to dump the pelvis forward to do that. The reason why that's not the greatest strategy is because if I'm dumping my pelvis forward and I'm extending through my lower back, then I'm not going to be able to get the muscles that are associated with extending the hip or pushing the hip forward. Instead, I'm going to get these smaller muscles like the muscles around the back side of the hip and the back side of the sacrum to kick on. And what that could do is when that gets really stiff, because the sciatic nerve travels through this little area here, which is called the sciatic notch, when the piriformis squeezes, it actually reduces space in that area. And so that could cause tension on the nerve itself, which is why some people experience sciatic pain. So they may feel tension or pain around the back side of the hip, so it feels like a glute thing, or they feel sciatic nerve pain, which is nerve pain that goes throughout the entire leg or down the leg. Could be towards the toes, could be the back of the shin. And so what our objective needs to be is to internally rotate the hip and open up that space. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 3 different ways that we can accomplish improving piriformis pain with 3 different exercises. So the first thing we need to think about is if the center of gravity is going forward, so if my weight is over my toes, then what's going to happen is the pelvis is also going to dump forward. So again, a lot of people will do this because they're missing internal rotation of their hip. So what they'll do is they'll shift their weight forward towards their toes so they can have more weight over top of the mid part of their foot, which is important to go down. We need to pronate that foot in order to push off. But if we don't have that ability because we've got all these tissues in the back that are stiff, or we don't have the ability to internally rotate the pelvis or internally rotate the femur, then what's going to happen is we're just going to use this tightness to dump the pelvis forward. And so the first exercise is going to be shifting the center of gravity back so that we can start to decompress the back part of the hip and start to restore some of that internal rotation. Okay, so the first exercise is going to be a wall-supported thigh squeeze. And so this is going to accomplish a few different things. First, by squeezing the foam roller in between the thighs, this is going to start to open up the bottom part of the pelvis. So if we think about if the bottom part of the pelvis is closed and the glutes are squeezed, then we're going to have a pelvic floor that's more descended. We're going to have that lower part of the pelvis come together. And so by taking the foam roller, putting it in our upper thigh and squeezing, we're going to get the adductors that attach to that pelvis, and it's going to start to open that space up, which is going to allow the hips to be in a position of internal rotation while decompressing our glutes in the back part of the hip. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to have my back against the wall. That's naturally going to bring the weight behind me or towards my heels. By having the weight more towards my heels, I'm going to also start to relax the muscles in the back part of the hip. So now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to slide down just a little bit. So probably about 70 degrees of hip flexion. So I don't want to be too tall. I don't want to be too low, but I want to be at about, again, 60 to 70 degrees of hip flexion. Now, an important thing for this exercise is when I go down, I don't want to feel the weight go in my toes. I want to still keep the heels back or the weight back in my heels. I also want to keep the tag of my pants on the wall, because if I'm arching on the wall on the tag and I lose that tag of the pants, then I'm not going to reduce the tension in the back of the hip. I'm still going to be squeezing the glutes. I'm still going to be arching the back. So I'm going to press the tag of my pants against the ground. I'm going to have my head against the wall. I'm going to just squat down. This knee flexion is going to allow for that internal rotation to happen. So I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to think about I'm pushing somebody away. And when I'm pushing somebody away, I'm not reaching for it. I'm shoving myself back into the wall. And then what I'm going to do, take a big breath in through my nose. As I breathe out, I'm going to squeeze the foam roller. And I'm going to do about 2 sets of 6 reps. Again, when I exhale and squeeze, that's going to internally rotate the pelvis. So I'm going to take a big breath in as I reach my arms. Feel a nice big stretch in between the shoulder blades. As you breathe out, you're going to squeeze the foam roller. So the second thing that we can think about that's causing this piriformis tension or piriformis pain is the fact that we're not able to essentially delay ourselves from going forward. So think about when my left foot hits the ground. If my left foot hits the ground and I just automatically just arch my back and I dump my knee in or dump my foot in, then I'm not able to delay the process of going through that gait cycle. So essentially what happens is if the muscles in the back part of the hip are super tight and everything is externally rotated, then when I take a step, I'm just going to dump everything forward. And so from the back, sometimes it looks like there's a hip hike going on, or it looks like the hips are just turning away from that side. So if everything's externally rotated, when they take a step forward, they orient, they move their entire pelvis as one unit to get that foot in front. And so now everything is going to move inwards towards the midline so that they can take a step. And so our objective is to get the pelvis to turn back into that side. So if I turn the pelvis into that direction, then you can see I'm going to start to internally rotate the femur while increasing the distance between the femur and the sacrum, which inherently is going to open up this space as well. So our objective with this second exercise is to turn the pelvis back into that side so that we can decompress the back part of that hip. Okay, so the second exercise is going to be a supine cross connect with a right hip extension. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my right foot on the ground, my left foot on the wall. So you can see my knees are lined up with each other. I don't want my left foot too far down. I want my left knee bent, but not 90 degrees. So I don't want to go too far down. I want to be just in line with the right knee. The right foot is going to be also in line with the hip. Now, if this feels like you have a little bit of tension in the hip flexors, you could bring your right foot out to the side a little bit. That's totally okay. But what the key thing here is I want you to feel the tag of your pants on the ground. So push the tag of your pants on the ground without using too much of your stomach muscles. If you use your stomach muscles, you're just going to crunch. I want you to just gently push the tag of your pants into the ground. If you can't get that, you could put a towel underneath your hips. Next, my arms are going to reach down towards my knees. So I don't want you to reach down where you're rounding your shoulder, but I don't want you to reach at shoulder level. So reach somewhere in between. That's comfortable. Then you're going to inhale as you push the inside part of your left foot into the wall and reach your arms. Breathe out as you push your right foot into the ground without losing tension on that left foot. So then you're going to breathe in through your nose as you push your left foot and reach your arms, not letting your head come up. And then breathe out, push the right foot. The objective here is because I'm breathing in and pushing the left foot, that's going to naturally turn the pelvis towards the left.
And because the knee is slightly bent and the hip is flexed, that's going to decompress the glute on that left side and the piriformis. When I breathe out, press the foot, that's also going to help turn the pelvis towards the left, which is just going to decompress that space. So again, I'm going to reach as I breathe in, push my left foot into the wall. As I breathe out, I'm pushing the inside of my right foot. Do it 2 sets of 6 breaths.
So the third thing that I commonly see with people who have this piriformis tightness or tension is that their center of gravity goes so far towards their toes that what then happens is these muscles actually start to grip. And what they'll do is they grip in order to almost like try to tilt the pelvis back. So I'm going so far forward that I've got to squeeze my glutes and tuck underneath to lean back. And so they'll get all this tension in the backside of the pelvis. And so when this tension happens, again, you could see the pelvis closing, right? So when this pelvis closes, that's when you start to see people who have no butt. So they got the flat butt. They're really tensing their glutes. So our objective here is to create distance between the 2 sit bones. So open up the pelvis, which is then going to reduce tension here. And I understand that the pelvis doesn't move this much, so this is just for education purposes, but the intention is still the same. If we can start to reduce tension at the bottom part of the pelvis, we're going to start to allow the pelvis to have more dynamic movement and the hip as well. So this exercise I like to call the short-seated butt cracker. And the reason for it is because I'm going to straddle the foam rollers. The foam roller is going to go in between those sit bones, just like we talked about, and it's going to almost pry them open. By being in a short-seated position and hugging my knees, I'm going to start to relax the muscles in the hip, relax the glutes, relax the piriformis because I'm in this deeper range of hip flexion. I'm also going to be hugging my knees, which is going to open up my back. So as I mentioned, my center of gravity is going forward towards my toes. And so if I can open up my back, I'm going to start to shift the weight back towards the heels, and I'm going to be able to open up the bottom of the pelvis in order to try to reduce tension going through the back part of the hips. So I'm just going to take a big breath in through my nose as I hug my elbows. Really feel the air go into my back. I'm going to breathe out as I push my feet into the ground. Now, one thing you could do from a pelvic floor standpoint is when you breathe in, you feel like your pelvic floor is going down into the foam roller. When you breathe out, it feels like your pelvic floor is lifting off the foam roller. And so you're just going to hang out here and do 2 sets of about 6 breaths. It's a great exercise for a warm-up if you're training, or this is just a great exercise as a cool down as well. So in this video, I talked about 3 different reasons that I commonly see that my clients have piriformis issues and 3 exercises we could do to overcome them. What you'll notice is that all 3 of these exercises are a little bit different than what's traditionally given in a rehab perspective. So if you like this video, if you like this type of method, then check out my Evolved Biomechanics mentorship. We talk a lot about compensations like this, how to assess for it, and what to do about it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, save, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.